Welcome, everyone. We are going to have a continuation of our initial budget presentations and asks today, Tuesday, October 2nd. I believe first on our docket we have the Justice Court. So go ahead and come on up.
Okay, I'm not sure what the proper procedure is, since I haven't watched anybody else do this this morning.
They've all just come in and said, we'd love to give back $150,000.
Okay, we would love to take that from them.
That works perfectly.
Thank you. I'm glad other people are willing to share.
We can grant that.
Just
Biggest
for the-
thing is if you can just go over your additional budget requests and talk to us about them, and we'll ask any questions as we work through that.
Okay, under my close supervision, Kathy Davies has put this together, so I will turn the mic over to her so she can explain that in detail.
I hope that shredder's still working good, because I don't.
It
yeah.
is. Okay.
So Kathy, if I could just, part of the budgeting process, and yours is fairly simple, let's just put it that way. But part of the budgeting process is to look historically at the budgets and what's been used. And so some of the numbers thrown into the budget, of course, is looking back historically and a little, and there's not, you're the ones that are supposed to look a little forward and say, these are some of the needs. And so for me, as you go down through these, if you just would address them based on, that we're seeing this happening, or this is what's
Okay.
gonna happen, different than historical.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay.
And do you have this same list right here?
Yes. Yes.
I don't know how you guys feel, but 1 and 2 probably don't even need to be discussed, just the second, third, and fourth ones on it, just because internal service fund isn't anything they can control,
Right.
and the other one has a calculation anyway.
So the only question on the internal service fund is, would we get those numbers, how'd that number come differently? Because
we
I thought
had-
that we had worked through that already.
Yeah. When they had we needed 2 computers that needed 2 screens. So when we contacted the computer department, they told us that we were to purchase those screens. So we purchased 2 screens for 2 different computers, and then they were not
Already in 2018.
already, yes.
Oh, so they just didn't show up? Is that what it was? They didn't show up?
And so then when the figures got there, I found out that we weren't being charged for those.
So that doesn't give me confidence into the process that we went through. Okay.
And then, so do you want me to just skip to 4?
The conferences.
Okay, the conferences. In the past, they've had one of the clerks' conferences around here close, but I went to a court administrator meeting and they're going to have them both away, so that's where the extra money's coming in. So all of the conferences that we'll have with the judges and the clerks will be away. And then.
You put them as mandatory.
Yes, they are mandatory, so they're mandatory hours that we have to
Mandatory
have.
hours they have to have.
Yes. And then number,
Hold on
Excuse me.
real quick. So, your budget had $7,000, if I'm looking at all these right? Mm-hmm. For that, but the cost of all that with travel, you think is just over 10? Perfect.
and then 5, special court supplies, just based on previous spending. We are printing quite a few, I guess, cases when they come forward. We've gone paperless, but that doesn't really mean paperless. We hand everybody a sheet when they leave, and so we do give them those, and we're going through a lot of printed cartridges, so that's just actually based on the spending that we've spent this past year.
So in your notes, you put, we've spent $1,500 so far this year. But the year's 3/4 over, or did you pull that as of some certain time?
Well, we just ordered more cartridges, and I just put in for a budget transfer, so I'm kind of basing it off of this past year.
So you think you're now over, so encumbered, what's she at? Over 2,000 now?
Well, cartridges would come from the 2,500 account rather than the 4,800 account.
Oh, so, well, I'm thinking that was for cartridges. It might have been the water, the water price has gone up for water, so.
You don't buy bottles, you have a
We have a dispenser.
Okay.
And we had to go with a different company because they weren't showing up, and so it has gone up. How much did it go up, Kim?
Yeah, but is that more than $50 a month? Yeah,
About
I was gonna say,
50.
because
Yeah,
they're generally not
yeah, yeah,
that much.
yeah. About 50, but it just give or take on how much we use, because we fill up water jugs for court every day. And that's
Where were
basically
we
about
putting
it.
that before, Janine?
4,800.
Okay, so you want her to put the 2,400 out of, so the 5,500 in office supplies, is that not enough for cartridges in your 2,400?
No,
The 5,500 is
It
not?
wouldn't be,
Okay, so I guess the question is we need to split this 1,650 up since you're talking cartridges, which would be
Uh-huh.
different. So what's the difference in cartridges versus the increase in water? Cause your water one, or food and meals, or let's see, special court supplies is at 1,200, as you know.
yes.
But how much of that 1,650 would be that account?
I would say half,
Okay.
so let's go half.
So the 1,650 though, there's 150, where's the 150? I see the 1,500. Is it there?
150, I was looking
Is on
at
the-
food and meals.
Yeah,
Meal-
he's
meals?
looking under the food and meals, yes. And that is actually just for jury trials that we have scheduled now, that we're anticipating that we may need to provide lunch for them.
Okay.
Right? So the 1,500, then you're splitting up and putting some of that up in the 20,
Uh-huh.
how much,
Yes,
how much of that?
so of the 1,500, we could go half, or 800,
150 each.
yeah.
Okay, you got those noted changes, Denise?
Yes.
I know last year we had you guys talk about your court cases, numbers.
Uh-huh.
Just out of curiosity, I'm sure you came prepared with those just in case some ambitious commissioner asked you about them. Will you
I
give us
did.
those trends again?
Uh-huh. As a matter of fact, I have,
Since we have time, because your budget's easy. Perfect. That's all I got for you.
okay.
We're still going down. How much do you have in that $1 million filing cabinet of uncollected?
It's the,
I just call it the $1 million filing
Yeah.
cabinet, because when I was over there once for a tour, somebody referred to it as that.
yeah, so the total dollar amount on that second page,
Is that what it is?
outstanding, uh-huh.
Is that $1
How,
million too?
how outstanding?
Million two.
Within a year, within,
10 years. So we go back all the way to 10 years.
you can't write it off as uncollectible for 10 years?
We can, but we haven't.
Okay.
Be surprised how many we come forward.
Sure. I just wondered if it was more of a state statute that
yeah.
you had to hang on to. 'em.
Yeah,
Actually, it's 3 years.
That sounds more.
yeah.
Is that, I don't necessarily need the breakdown. Was it pretty consistent for the years, or is there some years that are really higher in the past 10 years? Would you say, you know?
For dollar amounts for warrants?
Yeah, for dollar amounts, yes.
Well, the fines have gone up, so
Oh.
it's probably, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so it's probably
yeah.
a different curve.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you see as a solution for, is there, or if there's not a solution for collecting some of these?
Well, we have been sending a lot of the cases to the Office of State Debt Collection, and they have been collecting quite a bit.
Really?
What do they charge you on that? Do they return 100% of the funds, or
Well, they return the 100% of the funds to us, but they charge a fee on top of,
what's the percentage of the fee they charge?
do you remember what they charge?
You know, I haven't kept that in mind, but because they, again, collect 100%, they don't discount the amount that we
Right, but the question is they collect a $5,000
Uh-huh,
and let's say they charge you 10%.
yeah. And they're,
Oh, and
yeah.
that was my cue.
Yeah. Yeah, 2 or 3%, but their fee comes off, so they take their money off the top
Sure,
first.
sure, sure.
Yeah, yeah,
If they collect or not, or only if they collect?
only if they collect,
Oh, wow.
That's actually a pretty good bargain.
yeah.
How do we get that for the clerk auditor's office?
That's a good deal.
Really good
Yeah.
deal.
Turn them all over there.
And they actually have better, I mean, they have investigators, they
Yeah,
have
I
better
turn 'em
ways
all
to
over.
get, yeah.
Yeah, on checks.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thanks for what you do.
Angle is the sheriff's department and the warrants division in pursuing those. So as far as from the county end, with the sheriff's department, they're the ones that go out and serve those warrants. Other than that, we can send them to debt collection.
Yes, so they serve the warrants,
And bring the people before the court.
right, yeah,
And we have to
Yeah.
work out payment plans.
right, right. And then and then the payment plan, but the deputy doesn't go and actually, go after the money at all. He's just, yeah, right, just a person.
But, in order to, to potentially collect that, we have to have a person before. So that's the thing, they will be serving the warrant, doing it for us. And, hopefully we can work out a
Right. Okay.
Cool.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect.
That's it for me.
How's the swamp cooler over there? I'm just kidding. I know that's a touchy situation. I know.
Don't bring potato chips, right?
It just shocked me, when you told me that. I was like,
But don't give them any ideas. We bought them a gold-plated shredder.
They've been using it, in fact, they're using it so much that it's kind of on the front, because,
Leave that for next year.
okay. No,
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Mhm.
So did Richard not come just because whenever we see the numbers in red, he mentions furloughs?